When I was a kid between the ages of like 5 and 10 years old, I was like introduced to horror films. Now, I have a list here of 5 films that I remember watching as a kid that absolutely terrified the shit out of me. And many people might think, well, when you were a kid in the 90s, you probably watched Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, or something like that. And I did watch those movies, but it wasn't until my teenage years that I kind of got introduced into horror formally. You know what I mean? Where I actually saw these films like, oh, you should check these out. This is like the introduction to horror, watching the Universal Monsters or, the 80s slasher flicks, these exploitation films and stuff like that. Many of them are really fucking grotesque, to kind of get through and kind of make you feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And that's just me as a teenager. So I can't imagine somebody stumbling across, I don't know, I Spit on Your Grave, for example. As a kid, that probably would more than likely fuck you up. You know what I mean? But for me, I have a list here, a small list, and they're mostly films that aren't really scary by today's standards, or not at all. Like one of them or two of them are ones that still give me the chills, that I watch them today. And just when I was a kid, man, just stumbling across these films and watching them and being so immersed into it, because now you can watch a film and be on your phone and you're not really paying attention to it unless you were sitting in a theater. Then that's where you get like the best experience. But when you were a kid, we didn't really have those distractions like we do now. And I was just sitting there with my older cousins. I thought it was an honor to sit with them and kind of view these films and be like, I get to chill with the big kids. And you really don't know what the hell they're watching until you realize, oh shit, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? So let's not waste any more time and let's get into the top 5 list of movies that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And of course, I have a little notes here. You see, look, I had a little custom job here. You know what I mean? Anyway, so before I continue, this list was created by my inner child between the ages of 5 and 10 years old, okay? I wasn't 16 years old when I seen these movies, because by then I already had seen some fucked up shit unintentionally that kind of desensitized me to some horror films and stuff like that. So, we're just gonna I let my childhood kind of dictate this small list here. So let's get started with number 1. And number 1 is very, very typical. I mean, I'm sure a lot of kids got scared because of this movie. And that is Halloween, the 1979 version, because why not? You know what I mean? It's not going to be 2008 or anything like that. But I think what scared me the most in this film was the high-pitched sound of like the chords or the keytones that they use. The fact that Michael Myers just stands there, like he kind of has that glare, and when he's standing there at the end of like the block, or he's standing there between like the clothes that are hanging there, it is just such a terrifying image. And when I was a kid, I remember watching it, and we had to stay the night at my grandma's house that night. And dude, I just remember like sleeping in the cousin's room. There was like 5-6 of us in there, or in the living room, I think. And somebody was snoring kind of heavily, so I couldn't really sleep because aside from being scared, I can hear this heavy breathing. And in the movie, when it shows Michael Myers' point of view, you hear like his breathing in the mask, and that's all I can think of when they were heavily breathing, whoever the fuck it was, that this dude is like near the sliding doors, in the back door. He's like peeping through the window. I just can't see him because I'm so far down. You know what I mean? And it just scared the shit out of me. I mean, it really, really bothered me. And then like, the mask itself wasn't scary. It was just his demeanor. It was the way he moved. Like he was so like he was like a damn ghost. You know what I mean? And the fact that they couldn't take him out was just even more terrifying, man. So the film isn't scary. Well, obviously now I can say that, but when I was a kid, it was very much real, and it was very much so the fucking villains that you just did not want to come across. And I just remember that specific memory of trying to sleep and I couldn't. I hear heavy breathing and I just think that dude's in the fucking window somewhere. So it was pretty damn terrifying, and I'll just never forget it, man. But now, number 2 is not particularly scary. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It is considered, though, one of the best, worst movies of all time. And I'm pretty sure anybody who's like seen horror movies for a good amount of time any horror junkies out there have seen this movie and know exactly what I'm talking about without even me saying it. But this movie just literally scared the shit out of me, and that was Trolls 2. And I think the first thing that comes to mind when I think about why I was so scared and why it gave me so many nightmares is the way that the trolls look. The one with the bug eyes and his fucking teeth sticking out, the other one where his nose is raised up and his eyes look kind of black, and it was just the images of these fucking things just scared the shit out of me. I was just like, dude, like, these are freaking terrifying. Like, bravo to the makeup department in that aspect, man, because it really petrified me. And I really didn't know. I knew it was fake, but the images were just like terrible. And I think mixing that with the way they looked with the way that they went about killing their victims was just, I don't know, man. To me as a kid, I thought that was like a scary way to go, right? You're eating food, normal food, in this shitty town, and like the food makes you into like this green goop because for some reason the trolls are vegetarian. It's like, when the fuck they, like, you know, they have these sharp ass teeth. Like, you would think that they would want to, you know, munch on some flesh or something. One scene in particular, if you've never seen it, this might be a spoiler in case you were interested, but in this one scene, the kid is talking to his grandpa who knows all about like these trolls, the town, how it's all connected, and she's talking to him through this restroom mirror, you know, and the grandpa just has like this levitating head, and you know, the grandpa's warning him, and then all of a sudden a fucking troll comes out from the mirror, just like breaks through it and jumps on the kid, and that scared the hell out of me. That shit sent me over the roof, bro. I got home. I remember trying to sleep. I couldn't even, when I went to go take a leak, I couldn't even look in the damn mirror because I thought, I don't want to look in the mirror. I don't want to see no floating head. I don't want no damn troll on me. Like, I don't know why I tortured myself like this, but I loved the thrill of being scared. This movie was crazy to watch at a very young age. So Trolls 2, man, I mean, what can I say? It is a terribly good movie. And numero tres is in fact on my t-shirt. Yeah, look at that, Evil Dead. Swallow your soul, you know what I mean? So that's number 3 on the list. And I think it was the same reason that I got scared of Trolls 2. I was scared of Evil Dead, and just the way that the fucking Deadite looks in the cellar trying to get out, dude, like that image is just burned into my brain. And I just remember being scared of basements for that freaking reason, you know, or even listening to like old records. You know, my grandma used to have this record collection, and when you put it on, you know how it kind of has this, like, you have to kind of mess with the settings a little bit to get the pitch right, and if it was like out of whack, it had like this weird like effect like that with the music, and it just reminded me of the tape player from the movie. And I was just like, dude, like, this is enough, like, get me the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? The movie just scared the hell out of me, and it was just for that reason alone. It was the practical effects, it was the fact that Ash ends up alone in this cabin fighting these things all alone, bro. Like, it just the same reason Trolls 2, it just scared me because of the makeup effects, man, and the fact that he was all by himself in this cabin. He couldn't escape it. He had to wait until morning to get the hell out of there. When I was a kid, it seemed like a slow burn, like, oh my god, when the hell is he gonna get out? You know what I mean? Now it's very entertaining. I find it enjoyable. Evil Dead 2 is like my favorite. Army of Darkness, Ash vs Evil Dead, even the newer films, even though they're not the best, they're pretty good for what they are. But yeah, man, the Evil Dead series is just one of my favorites, and I owe Evil Dead, the first one, for that. So great movie. If you haven't seen it, man, you're really missing out. Now, number 4, y'all, I'm telling you right now, I thought this shit was the realest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I genuinely believe the story, everything had happened. I believe the movie was a literal documentary that they showed everybody to show them that this witch is fucking real, okay? And that is the Blair Witch Project. And at this time, we had lived in Virginia for about a year or two. Like, it's Burkittsville, Maine. I think that's where the Blair Witch Project, or the Blair Witch supposedly lived, or like the forest or whatever. And we literally lived 45 minutes from there. And in the town that we were at, it was very foresty, forest all around, you know what I mean? Like, we would have really bad snow days. We couldn't go to school. We couldn't even go outside because of how bad it was. I mean, it really lended itself, that movie lended itself to my environment, and I was just afraid to go outside sometimes, even to look out in the dark, because if you guys live through forests and you look out, you know how dark it is. And everything that from that movie I believed. I don't know why my mom let me watch it. I think she was even interested in watching it. You know what I mean? This was like a phenomenon. The marketing for this thing was just absolutely insane. I remember going to the mall in Virginia and just seeing, you know, the shirts, the white t-shirts, and it says the missing college students. They had like the Blair Witch twigs and shit like hanging everywhere. Like, it was like this huge thing. Like, everybody was believing that this thing was real, and it wasn't until like they came out and said it was fake, you know, the kids were actually alive, and you know, all this thing was fucking made up just based on like this lore or something in this little town and shit. But it was just absolutely like amazing what they did to hype up this movie, man. Everybody believed it, and kids included, like myself. The panic that these campers had looking for this witch, you know, as it progressively gets worse and worse and worse. One guy goes missing, they go looking for him, they end up in this fucking house with like handprints everywhere. They're asleep in like the tent. It starts moving around because the witch is supposedly out there like moving it, like chasing them in the dark. Like, it was just a very slow burn. But man, the buildup was just fucking, it was intense. They go inside like the house in the end, right? And then like the chick is just screaming her fucking head off, like she's looking for the guy, but then she gets separated from the other dude and she's trying to look for them. She's going up the stairs. There's like kid handprints everywhere, and you know, the house just looks fucking like tore up and very, very like it's gonna crumble, right? So she goes into the basement again. Another reason why I hate basements, because this fucking movie. She goes into the basement and the dude standing in the corner. She's just like, this yell that she has is just so like intense and like gut wrenching. Like, it just really makes your blood run cold, right? And then like after all her screaming, like something hits her, I guess in the back of the head or something. She goes down and that's it, right? The camera plays or just kind of films for about a few, like maybe 10 seconds, and then after that, boom, movie's over. And it's left with, oh my God, what the fuck did I just watch? You know, kind of thing. Like, what happened? It leaves you with so many questions. And that was just like the genius of this movie. And man, but I'm just telling you, when I was a kid, every word that they spoke to those locals about this movie just absolutely resonated, you know, with me, because I'm like, dude, I live near a fucking town like this. Like, my town looks like this. Like, this bitch could be hiding in the forest behind my house. You know what I mean? So it was just intense. And I just remember being so fucking scared for the longest time until we moved back to California. Then I rewatched it again, and you found out that it was fake, and it's kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? So I kind of got disappointed, but now that I watch it as an adult, it does still give me the creeps. And numero cinco is one that still kind of creeps me out as an adult, just like the Blair Witch. And I just remember, again, renting this. I don't remember if I remember watching this at my cousin's house. I think I did. I have this memory. We went over there, we rented movies, and he rented this. And man, dude, I couldn't sleep that night just because it was just so, it made me feel uncomfortable. Watching this movie made me feel uncomfortable. It still kind of does. I watched it in theaters with my wife and my sister probably about 3 years ago at this like local theater, and like the vibe of the theater plus like this movie kind of lended itself together, so it made it very, very creepy, right? But when I was a kid, I just remember feeling so uncomfortable. I felt like, you know what, like I need to go to church this Sunday with my mom or something. I don't know why. You're probably thinking it's The Exorcist. It's not. I didn't watch that until like when I was like 15, 16 years old. But anyway, the movie I'm talking about here is Pet Sematary. And man, dude, like I think it was just the kid, just like the whole environment of the movie is just creepy. You know, the little house that they live in, again surrounded by forests, like, you know, the dead grass, it's like the fall season, the dead leaves everywhere. Like, essentially everything there is dead. You know what I mean? Like, it looks very desolate, away from everything. It's right off the highway. Just like that whole fucking scene with the kid getting hit by the semi truck. Like, God, that shit really bugged me for the longest time. It bugged the hell out of me when I was a kid, and it made me afraid to be in the street. And we're kids, we like to play in the street, throw the football, you know what I mean, like play a little bit of baseball, or like, you know, play tag. Just running around the street and shit just made you aware of freaking vehicles. You know what I mean? You think like Christine would have did that, but no, man, this fucking movie made me scared of cars, trucks, boats, all that shit, bro. Like, I was like, anything that was metal and can move hella fast, I was like, get it away from me. You know what I mean? So it really gave me a fear for the longest time. And you know, the poor kid, he gets hit, and then like they go to the funeral, then like they start fighting at the funeral, the casket tips over, the kid's hand like flails out, and that's another fucking thing that scared me. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, you know? Like this poor kid, and you know, and then the dad is fucking distraught, of course. And then one of the scenes that just scared the shit out of me was the I think it was the sister or the mom of the wife. She goes into the room and this bitch is sitting on the bed, like facing the corner, and then like she turns around and just like walks up to the camera. Oh my god, dude, like that one right there, fuck, that shit really, I think that's the one that gave me nightmares. I was already feeling very skittish and very like I'm fearful of the whole movie, but then like when scenes like that pop up, I'm like, yo, what the fuck, back up, you know what I mean? And that one just really scared the hell out of me. And then at the end, you know, after the wife dies, oh, spoiler alert, by the way, the wife dies at the end, and then like she goes into the house and like, you know, she hugs her husband or whatever, and like the whole side of her face is all fucked up. Like that was pretty damn scary. And then at the end, right after it cuts to black, you hear the guy screaming because obviously he got murked by his wife. But man, that whole movie just at the end of it just made me feel like gross, not in like a gory kind of way, but it just made me feel like spiritually dirty or something. I can't fucking describe it, because even watching it now, I feel very like, I feel this weird sense of energy from it, you know what I mean? But you know, like it's just it's such a classic film, and just as a kid, like being exposed to these fucking movies is like, you really can expose your kids to these fucking things. Make them watch Casper, you know, stuff like that, Hocus Pocus or some shit like that. The fuck am I doing watching this shit? But that's what I love about the craft. That's what I love about this artistic thing attached to it, that it's just really hard to really dismiss, you know what I mean? Because so many great movies have come out because somebody had just like infiltrated the genre and was like, you know what, let's do this with it, let's raise the stakes up, let's add this, let's do that. You can't do that in many genres, you know, like they tried doing that in comedies, action and stuff like that, and I think the response has always been like, but when it comes to a horror film, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? The horror film community, or the horror movie community, I should say, is just you know, they're a little bit more open to experimentation than any of these other genres. But that was my top 5, ladies and gentlemen, movies that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Let me know what y'all think about the series. I want to start doing this eventually. I want to start doing it again in November after the holidays are over. Or after Halloween is over, I'm going to start picking it up again with different types. I'm going to think of different topics and stuff like that. Just because like I wanted to get this done earlier, you know, because I had all this like Halloween content like picked out in my head, what I wanted to do, play games, talk about movies, but work has just really been a pain in the ass, and it's just like, you know, I just started picking up like cooking again at home, so I just been more focused on, you know, hanging out with my wife, going to work, cooking and stuff like that. So you know, I kept myself pretty busy, but I want to start doing content again, something different, because eventually I want to start streaming, so I don't have to do you know, game videos. I can just do these types of videos, focus on these type of things, you know, because I like doing stuff like this. So let me know what y'all think about the series, about these movies. What are your top 5 movies that scared the shit out of you as a kid? I would like to know. Drop it in the comments, because I would really like to know everyone else's you know, everyone else what they experienced when they were a kid. So thank y'all so much, muchas gracias for coming through, kicking it with your boy on this episode of Aries' top 5. I'm still trying to get used to the name. If you haven't yet, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and smash that notification bell so you know every time I drop one of these videos, or any videos. All right, so muchas gracias, fam, for coming through, kicking it with your boy, and I will catch y'all in the next episode. All right, deuce.
Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard.